All right. In 5, 4. Hey guys, Nick Campbell here. With me as always is
David Steele.
And we are
Rhythm and Wit.
Oh my God, we did it. We brought in a veteran comic, super important guy in our scene. Put your hands together for Cameron Buchholtz.
I don't know. What does important mean? Like we tell dick jokes. None of it is important.
Every word I say is not thought of until the word before.
Fair enough.
So just keep
well, I mean, I appreciate it. It felt lofty, but you know,
maybe the dick jokes are important.
Yeah. We're, you know, it's our job is to sell booze.
Right.
That's what you know.
It really is, and nachos.
You know,
you might be one of the most well-known names just because you do what you do. I mean, probably more people know the name Cameron Buchholtz than most any other comic. Maybe they don't even know you're a comic, but they know you from the radio.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, and my last name sounds like buttholes, so it's kind of distinctive. It's not, you know, so it's I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, but welcome. This is really exciting. For sure. We got some questions for you. Oh, well, first we want to just shout out. This is episode 55. Welcome to the Rhythm Wit Podcast. We're back here. It's an exciting episode. Everybody, welcome and thanks for watching. So yeah.
Indeed.
We have so we're trying to get the word out for your show. You got a headlining show, Bricktown Comedy Club,
April 19th.
And we talked a little bit about it before we got started here, but you said that you haven't headlined at Bricktown before.
Yeah.
You've headlined a little bit here and there.
Sure.
Yeah. Cool. So you brought friends?
It should be fun. Sunday night show, 6:00, and Bradchad Porter, who you know is everybody's comedy dad, and Spencer Hicks, and then Lizzie Evans doing a guest set, so it should be fun.
Yeah, nice. Spencer Hicks. I haven't seen. I saw him. What was that? At the 89th Collective show.
Yeah, that was last
Christmas.
Yeah, the Christmas.
Taylor Vincent's thing. I think I always miss that because I'm always out of town for Christmas. Right, that's just when he always does it. But
I like that. I've been there like at least 2 years, and like it's always just a great lineup, and a lot of people will come out for that to do that show that don't typically do comedy or haven't done it in a long time.
Right, yeah.
Like I think that may have been the first time I'd seen Bradchad in a long time at that last year too.
Yeah, I think at that point he was just starting to come back out again, and now he's a little more committed. Right. But, you know. Yeah,
but So and then you've never done. So have you ever headlined anywhere? You were saying you had never done the Looney Bin back in the day either for a headline.
Yeah, well, I mean the Looney Bin was a whole different beast of
different process.
And locals didn't really get those sort of opportunities at the Looney Bin. Like it was most local comics at the old owner Looney Bins sort of maxed out at host.
Right.
Like there was, a few opportunities to middle every once in a while, but even that was pretty few and far between. So they were just so stuck on. They had kind of had the same lineup of road comics that they had for 20 years or whatever. That it was, they just had their cycle.
Yeah.
But so with Bart coming in and Bricktown, I think there's a little more opportunity for that. But I know. I'm one of only maybe not even half a dozen local comics that have gotten the opportunity to headline. And it's been a little while since they've had a local headliner really. So
I think
they had Will Burnson and
so they've had that they've had a couple fill in where a comic can't make their flight or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought Julie had done it, but maybe
Julie had done it a couple years ago, and then
Rose. Andrew Rose.
Oh, did he? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes me feel not as accomplished than Andrew Rose. But it's a lower. That's a much lower bar than I thought it was.
Yeah. Well, just look how accepting they are.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
But no, I really like that they give the local headliners opportunities like that because also as someone who's up and coming, I like to think it's like, oh, you can get there. Yeah. It's kind of
sure.
Yeah.
And it's also I feel a little bit of like a I don't know. I mean, it's self-serving in a way too, but it's like I want to sell tickets so that to show Bark, locals actually can. Because if anytime they give a local headliner spot and then no one shows up, it's like, well, then why would they continue to do that?
They're not going to give the next person an opportunity for sure.
Right. And I've been Marty Johnson headlined once, and I've been shitting on him for not bringing people out because I feel like he did it and then
earned it.
Yeah, exactly. There were 12 people there. And I think, and then they didn't have a local headliner for like a year. Yeah. So I'm just blaming Marty.
But they have something I noticed is I just drove by there recently, but I was thinking about you being there and like, no, John Wallen's doing a show, like a kind of he's not like headlining, but he's doing like a special show where it's all gonna be.
Yeah, he's got
local.
His own showcase thing that he's running.
Yeah, so but I was thinking about so I was thinking about that. And I was like, they're opening it up for more producers. So I was thinking about Nick. I was like, when is Nick gonna be able to produce a show there? You know, it's like that would be that would be because it's like he produces everywhere except that place. It's like literally the only place that he's not.
I told him I was gonna wait.
They asked, but I was like, nah. Yeah, but I think that you know, with Sense of Stand Up, if it does well too, it's like maybe that will open the door for more kind of local producers to get in there.
Kayvon did
he does like the
dating show.
That's right. Yeah.
True and false, or
and they used to do that roast mania there too.
Yeah, that one's weird because you know Bark as a chain have certain showcases that they do at all of the all 7 or 8 clubs or whatever they've got now, and like Roastamania was one that like came in, and then there's like a drunk show that they do, and a same thing that's with a weed show or whatever.
Comedy Deathmatch.
Yeah, the contest one, and so there's a few of those that they've always done because they have to fill in the Thursdays and Sundays a lot when their headliners are only Friday, Saturday. They're big headliners, so it's like they don't want to go dark on those nights.
Yeah. What would you say? Would Looney Bin do stuff like that too? Would they kind of
never.
But also, Looney Bin was a lot more structured in like.
Yeah.
They were Wednesday through, or when I started, it was Wednesday through Sunday, and that's when the head like it was all the same, So the headliner was there for those 5 days all the time. Right. So that was just their schedule. Whereas Bricktown, it's like, sometimes there's a headliner on a Tuesday, and then the weekend headliner is only doing Friday, Saturday, and then sometimes they do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever. Like, it's a lot more just, changes depending on, I guess, everyone's calendars, what lines up or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more room at Bricktown for things like that to exist.
That's
good.
It
sounds like it was a little bit more rich. It had a more classic comedy club feel.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I mean, one of the owners, Larry, literally was one of the first dudes that owned a comedy club like in the country. Like in the late 70s, he helped open Sanford and Sons, which was in Kansas City, and it was literally like the third or something comedy club outside of New York and LA.
Nice.
So it was old school to the core.
Yeah. What did you learn from him? With anything specific? Give me the knowledge.
Well, it was funny because, Larry is the dude that had all the like long time experience and stuff, but his wife, Terry, is the one who really ran the club and was the one that dealt with the local comics and was,
kind of the manager.
Yeah. I mean, she was the manager. She was more the face. Larry pretended he was the cook half the time. And just, if you didn't know, then, he was just making the potato skins. But, I wish that, definitely the Looney Bin is still there, but I think everyone would benefit from, because of how strict they were and how rigid they were.
That's something that's like, I'd only ever been there one time. It was like right when he started, and like that was like the last year they were open or whatever.
I'm glad I got
there. So like he got to go there once and do the open mic or whatever, but I've always heard about this place and how it was run, and it's like I think a lot about that, and it's like I do think there is something to that. I mean, obviously it worked for decades. I mean, for that structure.
Yeah, and it's not like the Looney Bin here in Oklahoma City. It didn't go out of business. They just retired and couldn't find someone to buy the club. So like it's
Damn, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So that's not even like, it was still viable.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure it was coming off of COVID and stuff, so maybe they weren't making what they once were or whatever. But the reason it closed for, was they retired.
Just done for sure. Okay. But speaking of, what year was that? When did you start comedy?
So I started in 2008. Okay. Back in the Middle Ages or whatever.
Coming up on 2 decades. It's
impressive. When there were 12 comics or whatever, and 2 open mics in the literally that was when I started. It was Othello's, and then the Looney Bin on Wednesday nights. So Othello's has always been on Tuesdays, and then and then maybe a year after I started, JJ's started.
Okay.
And JJ's used to be on like a Sunday afternoon. It was like 5 o'clock on Sundays.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think a lot about that too, with like the differences between kind of even pre-COVID. I feel like the 2010 era or whatever. It's like, because I've always been in the music scene. I'm a bass player, so I played music for 2 decades probably, and but But I've always been, so it's been kind of adjacent to the comedy scene in a way inside C. We knew a guy, Derek Smith, from a long time ago. That was like, him and Bradchad Porter are the only two comics that I knew of, and you probably, like, for, my adult life,
Yeah, I mean, Derek and Bradchad, they were both there before I started. They both started maybe like a year before me. Okay. And that's what with my headline show. It's like Bradchad and Spencer are two comics that have actually been doing it longer than me. Okay. Spencer, I don't even know how long Spencer's been doing it. Maybe 5 years longer than me.
Oh, wow.
So not quite as active. He's not out, doing the mics or whatever. But when he's asked to do a show, he will. Well,
when he did that 89th Collective show, something that I recognize that, even with Bradchad or a lot of the people that don't really do as much, but have the experience of having done it for years, is it's almost like they walk back into that character. And with Bradchad at that 89th Collective, he might have been doing some older stuff, but he was playing with the crowd, just laying, what he's doing when he lays on the ground and stuff, and just woe is me, and then it just blew up the whole room. Like nothing changed.
Because I've noticed that too with a lot of comics that kind of have like 10 plus years under their belt. It's like you watch them do their set, and it's like it's so much different than seeing anyone that's done it for like less than 3 or 5 years even. It's like you can tell how naturally it comes to them, and just how like the jokes just kind of, I feel like most comics at that point don't even have to write a set out. Sometimes you just kind of get up there, and then jokes will just come to you, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this one joke I told like 15 years ago or whatever. Yeah. And then you're just like, this is the right time to pull it out. Is that something that you feel like?
I've had way too much whiskey in my lifetime to remember jokes from 15 years ago, let alone ones from 15 months ago. Right. But I don't know. I've never really stopped, I think the longest that I've not done a set was probably COVID.
Yeah.
And even that was, I was one of the assholes that was kind of out there right away. So because it was weird. Because, Bricktown opened, I think 2 or 3 months before COVID was like shut down.
The very beginning of 2020, I think.
Yeah. I think New Year's Eve, 2019 into 2020 was their like opening weekend.
Yeah.
And so when COVID happened, then when they were opening back up, they were one of the first clubs in the country to open back up.
This is Oklahoma.
It's
like we were first set ever getting back.
And then they asked me to feature like the second week they were back open. So like I was probably in the like first 10 or 20 comics to start working again after COVID. It was weird and sad and and especially. Yeah, it was at the time. I think they were like a quarter capacity or a third capacity or something. So like that room that seats 300 only sat 75 or whatever it was.
That would be weird by itself.
Yeah, exactly. And then the weekend that it was the weekend of the like George Floyd riots.
Oh yeah.
So it was just all like it just felt so weird. And then like I remember like watching the news between shows on Saturday and being like, oh, the other side of downtown is on fire. Like or whatever. Like this is wild. And I'm just going up talking about fucking, whatever bullshit. But like they didn't even ask. I can swear, right?
Oh yeah. No, you can say whatever you want.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, that was a weird time.
It was odd. Yeah. And then I was working with Josh Blue, who was like from Last Comic Standing, whatever. But for some reason, he had bought a crossbow that weekend from one of the Bricktown security guards.
What the heck?
And so
Josh
there was
Blue?
Yes. And so there was I'm sorry, I just spit on you. So there was a crossbow on the table in the green room like all weekend, which was unsettling in and of itself.
It's weird.
And then the end of the weekend, after the late show Saturday, when the riots are going on across downtown, he brings the crossbow out and all of the like pictures with the staff, not during the show, but just like picture, like it just felt like you shouldn't have a weapon right now. I don't know.
Right. Like, not that close to alcohol.
Right.
I think that's really the determining factor.
But
Josh Blue though, I would have never expected.
Well, you couldn't fly or anything then, so he was driving down from Denver. It's relatively close enough.
It's not too bad.
Man, that's fun. So 2008.
Yeah,
Cameron Buchholtz. Right? He's like, today's the day. Right? You're gonna go out there and do it. What does Cameron look like? What is he into? 2008. What's Cameron? Why? What is motivating Cameron?
Yeah, It's weird. So I had a friend that did open mics like the year before. And it was actually, he was doing like Othello's and stuff like that, summer of 2007, I guess. And I had known a bunch of the people that were doing open mics at that time because for some reason, like half of the comedy scene were all people from the OU Daily, the OU newspaper.
Yeah.
And as was I. So I like knew like there was like Leah K. Janian and James Nim and this guy Seth Joseph. And so a bunch of us sort of like whatever. So I knew comics before. And then at some point, I don't exactly remember what was the full-on catalyst, but it was easy to just fall into because I already knew all of these people that were doing Othello's at the time.
Kind of like one of those things where it's like everybody else is doing it, so it's like you just like, well, try to fit in with the your peer.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You might as well.
And then and then I mean you got to try it, and then obviously you loved it and kept doing it.
Yeah.
Do you love it?
I mean, at this point, I don't even know. Yeah. Like, it is just what I do. Like, because I was 20 when I started.
Okay, yeah.
So like, the first 6 months or whatever that I did it, I was only able to do like Othello. Like I couldn't even go to the Looney Bin because it was 21 to enter.
Right.
And I think technically Othello's, because it used to be more separate where the bar was separate from the restaurant before it burned down. And I think technically I wasn't even allowed to be doing Othello's, but they were just like, as long as you don't order booze, it's fine. Right. Like just, whatever.
Yeah.
But
you still winning the sugars though.
So of course. Yeah. I mean, you still need a taste for the sweeter things in life.
Yeah.
Like that's,
they were letting you in there.
Yeah. No. So, well, because I was always thinking we were playing music in 2008 at the time, but I wanted to ask you too, because obviously you're on the radio and you do. We can get into that in a little bit. But did you ever play in music, play in bands at all?
No, I never did. I don't have I never had the patience to learn an instrument.
Okay. Yeah, I assumed obviously you love music. I'd like to. We can talk a little bit about that too, but I just assumed I was like, I wonder if you ever done any of that, because I think a lot of comics maybe come from that world sometimes, and it's like,
there's a lot of failed musicians.
It's like you have that taste, you just want to be on stage. It doesn't matter sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I got a guitar and took lessons as like a elementary or middle schooler, and I just never stopped.
Yeah,
and,
but comedy, that's something that I think it's something about being on a stage though, whether it's with a band or I'm sure comedy. It's like something is very addicting to that feeling and just being in. It's like for music, for me, it's like just getting up on stage and then showing something to a group of people that you worked really hard on. And it's like they're there to watch you, so they have to watch whatever you do. It's like, or they could leave, but it's like, it's very kind of empowering, I think, too.
Yeah. I've never experienced the work very hard on it, but
but it's something that you put together, and it's like, this is what I got. So you're gonna have to check it out.
So would you say like I want to say this. I was interested. What bands were you listening to?
Yeah.
What were your bands?
In like college, I wrote for the college newspaper, and I lived at the Opolis. Yeah. Like back in that era, I was at like almost every show, just so whoever would come down. But it's a lot of, I was into the indie rock of that time. Your Spoon and Bishop Allen and
I forgot about them. I gotta look them up.
Yeah. Because they recorded in Norman. They played at the Opolis a lot.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, at the Blackwatch Studio or whatever I think it was called.
Them.
They might still exist. I don't know.
I thought Shane Moss coming through there one time.
Okay, that would have been a show booked by me and Bradchad.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
I was watching. I mean, I've watched y'all for a while. I was a little more into the comedy scene. My first go to Looney Bin was whenever they gave away when the Hornets showed up.
Okay.
They were like, we're gonna give away tickets because the Hornets. Like,
so you went to a comedy show? No,
a long time ago.
You got tickets from the Hornets?
It was. I traded.
Yeah, I was like,
no, that was when the Hornets showed up. That's what it was. We were giving away tickets on
the radio. Okay,
I was a little drunk back then.
Anyways, no,
but,
I was just confused.
Listen to Bob and Tom, and I think they gave them away in the morning.
Yeah,
sure.
Alongside that.
That makes sense. I'm sure a lot of the Looney Bin headliners were Bob and Tom regulars.
That's
back
what
then.
I remember, because I was listening to the radio every day when I was driving to work or school or whatever, and like I'd always, and this is like maybe 20. I remember in like 2012, 2013 or something like that. But I would always they would always have the comics on the do an interview on the radio, and talk about the Looney Bin. And I never did go, but I was like, that's so cool. And like, we've always been into comedy, like from TV, like Comedy Central Presents and like the big names and stuff. So like, but I never went to a comedy show besides just randomly seeing like, is it like Bradchad at, at an event or something. But I never did get to go to the Looney Bin back then, but I always wanted to. I was like, that sounds cool. And that's kind of where it's like, even doing this now, it's like now I'm literally doing that thing that I was doing, like interviewing comics for a show coming up.
And the people on the radio that did that don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So well, I mean, Joey and Heather on, I think it's Then Wild, used to have whoever was headlining the Looney Bin.
That's probably what I used to listen to back then.
Wild 97?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah. So they would have whoever the Looney Bin headliner was on like every single week, like just whoever was there.
I always remember it's like
Thursday.
Yeah.
And they would give away tickets, and it's like that's a great way to promote local stuff. I mean, why don't, it's like I used to work for the news, the TV news for many years, and that's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel and stuff like that. Was like I left there, but even while I was still there, I always was just noticed is like they just rarely talk about local stuff. Like occasionally something will pop up. Very rarely with comedy. I mean, never for music. It's like, so it's that was my motivation to start doing this. Is like, well, I'm going to do that then and try to get the word out and all this stuff that's going on. So like, I'm just always surprised that like no one tries to take advantage of that actual TV news or radio.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of
promote, but
at least radio, it's the Looney Bin was paying for that. Yeah. Like they were, that was just a thing of their advertising.
There's
so
a lot of people that listen to the radio that are gonna like probably get, it would help and get people to the door.
No, totally. Yeah, and I'm sure it was effective. But like I'm just saying, because that's why I've tried to get Bark and Bricktown to do something similar or whatever, and have connected them with my salespeople and whatever. But it never,
Yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of a But they ultimately could probably get that same little slice of life.
Yeah, if they wanted to. Yeah.
No, you do interviews though.
I do. Yeah. I mean, because when a comic comes through that I want to talk to, sometimes I'll reach out and do an interview and stuff. But it's not a regular thing like it was, and I can't do it too often because Bricktown doesn't advertise with us. So like I can't.
When Nick Thune came by, he did that one.
Yeah.
And you get the chance to catch bands and stuff on the way through.
Sure.
So this is almost, very journalistic. Kind of goes back to your daily.
Yeah, I mean that's what I went to journalism school. So
okay.
So did you always want to do radio? Was that part of it?
No, I mean growing up I wanted to be a music journalist.
Yeah.
So I like worship like Chuck Klosterman and I don't know if you know him, but
just those kind of old school.
Right.
Yeah.
And then started doing comedy and then just sort of fell into radio when I moved back here. So
what year was that?
I started with KATT in 2015.
Oh, yeah.
What were you doing for all those years?
So I just
2008, 2015.
So I'd moved to New York for a couple years and then moved
comedy.
Yeah. Well, at the time I was dating a girl who was a ballerina, like for her job, and that's and I was following her. Yeah. So it was
go to New York. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like so we moved to New York. We were there for a little bit, and then we moved to Austin. And then when we broke up is when I moved back here. Yeah. And then when I moved back here, that's when I started the radio gig. And in terms of like an actual making money job, I was just like temping and doing random,
trying to get in.
Somehow. Yeah, I worked for the Apple store for a little while and
back in the good old days.
Sure.
The place.
Sure. Well, kind of the people too, but it's
It's a common occurrence. It's Friday afternoon, you just finished up a long work week, and now you're wondering what to do with your weekend here in OKC. Your friends started hitting you up, and they're looking to you to suggest something fun to do. Luckily, you listen to the Rhythm Wit Podcast and remember their weekly video series, Upcoming Events with Heidi Fitz on YouTube, where myself and podcast host David Still break down our picks for the most fun and interesting local music, comedy, and art shows going on every week. Not only that, there are clips from the video posted nearly each and every day on Instagram and Facebook where you can get the information quickly, share it with your friends, and find out if they'd be into a particular show that you're interested in. So catch upcoming events with Heidi Fitz on the Rhythm and Wit YouTube channel and stay up to date on the most fun and interesting local music, comedy, and art shows OKC has to offer.
So what was your experience in New York? I mean, doing comedy from here.
What was it
it had to be like a shell shock.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was, getting to do like, 15 sets a week or something, or, just really grinding.
What year was that? How
so
long?
I was there 2010, 2011-ish.
Yeah, so that was like you're very new still to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in New York, you're just performing for other comics. Like
that's,
it's,
would you feel like that's probably where you kind of got a grasp on it when you got to do 10 mics a week as opposed to doing it here? I mean, which is like twice a week. I mean,
right. Yeah. I mean, that definitely, putting in those hours for sure. But then when I moved to Austin was kind of when I started working more legitimately and, got in with the Cap City Comedy Club down there, which is their kind of big club. And then started, doing the road a little bit, and, and then at that point, the Looney Bin was putting me in all 4 of their locations and stuff. So that was kind of the more catalyst. But yeah, New York was definitely, just the grind of like,
because that's what I've always thought about. I mean, like I said, just opposed to nowadays doing comedy in Oklahoma. I feel like in Oklahoma City, it's like an actual thing that you can do and get good at if you can just stay here and do it, or at least get the reps in. Yeah. Whereas 10 years ago that really wasn't possible.
Yeah, not to the same extent. I mean, the fact you can get up almost every night of the week here if you're trying.
Right. Couple times. So, I mean, you said you had 2 mics back 2008 that you maybe had. I mean, how many? A handful of showcases on occasion.
Yeah, and just people were still, the same as now. People were still trying to do, there was random, Opolis shows or coffee shops and whatever.
Well, you guys did ACMU Live. I remember. I mean, I went to Todd Berry. I went to a bunch of stuff. Joey Diaz. And, that was a really great time. I missed that one a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, and we started because that was me, Bradchad, and Spencer Hicks. Kind of started booking some of those shows because we were like, there's this whole group of comics that we love that aren't doing the Looney Bin and don't. So then therefore don't come to Oklahoma City. So we started booking like Doug Benson and Paul F. Tompkins and Todd Berry.
And you guys had
Marie Bamford and
that's awesome. Did you? And y'all had like a little. What was the name of it?
It was just called OKC Comedy, which was
I've heard that before. I don't know. You guys occasionally will do stuff these days with that.
Really, it's just
rarely, but
if there's one of us has something going on, we'll just throw that on the OKC Comedy Instagram or whatever.
Like,
it's not
so that's what year did you guys start doing that? Was that after you came back from Austin, I guess?
Well, no, it was actually before, and then I kind of still was involved the whole time I was gone.
Okay. But that's awesome. That's like literally what we see a lot more of, like I said today with Nick, I mean, and a lot of other people just doing these random kind of showcases and whatever they want.
This is what I feel like indie rock was supposed to be.
Sure.
Like I was like, I didn't get a taste for this when I was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, because we put on shows back then, and I feel like
it
was a pain in the ass to get people to come out back then too. But I feel like people did though. I mean, we were able to guilt them better.
Yeah. It's easier when you're younger too. You have more friends, and you're like, people are more willing to do stuff.
Yeah. I think a lot about that. The difference between music and comedy, just because it's like was so involved in music and now I'm more involved in comedy, but it's like music is definitely a younger person's kind of live music. It's like we're almost 40, and it's like it's so hard for me to stay out until midnight like a show at the Blue Note or whatever. So it's like I rarely do that, but comedy, you're at home by 10:30, 9:30 some nights,
depending
it's
on
nice. So
high five the kids.
It's a lot easier to get out and do those shows than it is music. So I feel like, and because I think also the drinking, it's like when you're in your 20s, you drink a lot more, and that's more for the bars and the music, and then comedy is. You might still drink a little bit, but it's more for the older, generation.
It's a sitting down. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. If there's not enough chairs, people will leave.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, so you guys honestly, you guys planted the seeds for what the scene is now. Really, I mean, there was like 12 of you,
something like that.
There was what was the scene like? Nobody.
I mean, pretty much. I think there was a few. Yeah, it was the random people that would show up to the Looney Bin open mic, and it was Spencer Hicks and a guy named like Joel Decker, and I don't know. There were a few, but I feel like when Othello started, that was kind of the catalyst that at least a lot of OU students started doing it.
Yeah.
And then it sort of expanded from there.
Because then it blew up in the 80s, right? That was like...
I mean, that's what I don't know where the big comedy boom when there was...
Because like Oklahoma's, we're always like 2 decades behind everyone else. They're behind like the big cities.
We just heard about Kurt Cobain.
So it's like it makes sense that we would kind of get into comedy like a decade after everyone else.
Well, this is prime. 2008 is prime. That's when it was popping off.
It was, yeah. Like I think it was because that was at least in terms of the circles I traveled in and looked up to and stuff, was the like quote unquote alternative comedy scene of like comedians of comedy with like Patton Oswalt and Marie Bamford and that whole rewrite. So I think, and like to a lesser extent, like David Cross, and he was a little before, but like the comedy not in comedy clubs movement was kind of really going. And
DIY.
Well, I mean, nothing's more DIY than when Maria Bamford did that special in front of her parents.
Right, in her parents' living room.
That was amazing. Awesome. I always remember thinking back to those because, I mean, they were the people talking about shit that I cared about whenever it was like video games.
It was like, they were probably more of the younger generation, of the younger ideas.
I mean, then you also had Clerks.
Like Kevin Smith.
Think about the dialogue in that movie, where how fast it was and how clever it was. I always attribute that time, for me, maybe it has happened at the same time, but that's when I found all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kevin Smith might be a thing of like you discover that in college.
Yeah,
because Clerks was like 94, so like
it was definitely out for a decade plus. But
I was watching it 16 daily. I was like, I'm gonna learn how to talk about this.
Because by the mid 2000s, Kevin Smith was already making like Jersey Girl and shit. So like it wasn't
you mean the start of the decline?
Well, I'm saying I'm saying that there was the decline was already there. I think by 2008, but
whose fault do you think that was?
I think it was that Kevin Smith had 3 ideas and he made all 3 of them in 94, 95, and 96 or whatever.
I forgot about that. But that dude, he can make it.
No, I'm not, sure.
Yeah. No, we can talk about him. He won't watch.
But
no, 2008. Like I really like the idea of that kind of a blossoming, comedy scene. That's kind of when I started watching a little loosely here and there, catch shows people I like watching, obviously throughout. And as you grew, you have 2 mics. You're trying to get on at Looney Bin. That's the home base. And, looking back, were you like, was the goal to try to make it? Or was it like, man, I'm just having fun?
I mean, probably a little bit of both. Yeah. I mean, it would be foolish to do all of it and not have some sort of higher aspirations, I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, not to shit on certain people or whatever, but I do always I'll go to like some open mics and I'll just see a few people that have been like, you've been doing this open mic for a decade and I don't think you've really done anything else. Like it makes me sad, but I'm like, maybe they're having fun and happy with it, but I've always been way more ambitious than
I do think that is the case. I think about that with music a lot, going back to that, just because it's the same thing. It's like you're a lot of people, I think that it's better to just have the love for doing it and like try not to think too much about, because it's such a low chance, or feel like slim chance of becoming, or I always think about with music, it's like we're never going to be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's like it's impossible. It's never, they're like on that level, right? But it's like,
but we could be trying.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I think that no matter what, music or comedy, you can get to a point where you can make a living doing it, have that be the main thing that you do and be happy. And I think that's, it's going to be a lot of hard work, or occasionally you might get really lucky and get, discovered or something and put on Netflix and blow up. So.
And that is something like 15 years ago or whatever, I think there was more of a middle class of comedy, because I think there were a lot more comedy clubs, and it was before the age of TikTok and stuff where it was a little different. And I think it was easier to squeak out a living, whereas I think it's kind of impossible now if you're not doing a million different things or just already super famous.
Well, I mean, that's Looney Bin we would go to Looney Bin to get comedy. We would go to Looney Bin to get comedy. And so you're looking at it was more like, oh, we know Looney Bin, we don't know the comic.
Yeah, you're going for, most of the time you wouldn't know the headliners that were there. You were just, exactly.
You just get a bag of comedy.
And those dudes were all making, whatever, $70,000 a year doing comedy at the different chuckle huts all over the country, and that was a lot more attainable. And I think now, just the way everything is gone, that's just not the case anymore.
Well, I mean, that brings us to this. What's your relationship with social media? I notice you do. You do really good. I mean,
you do it because you have to, but I sort of resent it. Like, editing clips didn't used to be part of the job.
Yeah.
Like that was not. I've been doing this long enough that I've sent out DVDs to be booked. There were still a few bookers that didn't want a YouTube link. They wanted a DVD.
If you have any more of those.
Oh, they were. I mean, there wasn't a ton. I wasn't, so. Okay. You paid the extra $100 for the disc version.
The kid missed a present on their birthday.
Sure.
For that one. No, but no, I think that's well, the diligence of just making a call, meeting a person, trying to make the connection, going up. Like, I think it's a little different because, like you say, it is all. I mean, it's the first thing I look at. I mean, look at their Facebook presence.
Yeah,
sure.
See if they're doing anything. Are they really putting the work?
Yeah.
As far as booking, but back then is a little bit more. You could do paper flyers. I feel like paper flyers aren't really anything.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they would be because no one does them.
Yeah.
You could stand out a little bit, but I don't know. I think of, if I see a flyer on my, windshield wiper or whatever, I just turn on my windshield wiper and I don't even look at what it is. So I don't,
Get out of here. Yeah, for sure.
Why would somebody do that?
It's the Mitch Hedberg joke of here, you throw this away.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you got Looney Bin, you're coming up, 2008, you're kind of rocking and rolling, writing bits. You got, like I said, I really am intrigued about this. Like, all right, this is what it used to be. This is how many bits did you get out? What was your process back then? And then now, seeing the evolution, hitting the break of 2020 and so on. And then now it's like, all right, it's a completely different ecosystem. How are you, can you get bits faster now? Do you get more feedback now in the mics? Because are the mics better quality? Like, what was the temperature back then versus now?
I think because there was less of it, I think maybe they were a little better then. But I don't really know. That might have just been, I was, starry-eyed because it was all brand new.
Yeah.
But I think mics are probably mics. They're always kind of shitty, and that's I do know when I started Othello's, you got 10-minute sets because there were only a few of us, so it was whatever. But then looking back, it's like no open mic should have that long because you're not like that's awful. Like if I have to. I get mad when open mics are 5-minute sets because I'm just like, no, make them 4 because the 5 minutes is too long for most of it.
Yeah.
Well, that is though. I mean, you can feel the difference between a 5-minute and a 4-minute set. Now, just the changing of the guard brings people's attention back.
Right.
And so when you hang out for 10 minutes in a place that doesn't really have your attention in the first place and you're not doing good, then they basically sink into themselves and they go, I guess this is my fate. And then they drink without their ears on.
They just stop, zone out, and start thinking about what's for dinner.
But I mean, you saw that. I mean, obviously, open mics have their own. That's what they are. At the bones of it, it's just like, hey, we're trying to do a thing. I mean, it's just like open mic music. Sometimes you go, like, this guy needs to practice more.
Yeah.
But
I mean, definitely. Speaking of music too, it's like, or just any of it, right? It's like the mics are. I think the most valuable part about it is. You just got to get out and see what it's like to do something sometimes, especially if it's your first time, obviously, or if you're new to it. But then even if you're doing it for a while, but you have new jokes you want to try out, it's like you have to know what it feels like for those jokes to come out and the delivery, and just it's all about practice,
Yeah, and with stand-up, there's no doing it not in front of people.
Yeah, there's no other way to practice it.
Right. There's no, if you're a musician, you can practice in your garage and get everything nailed down, but that doesn't exist without an audience with stand-up, or at least a microphone and the idea of an audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the idea of an audience. Just the pretend of there's a little pressure cooker moment, even if you could just make the room dark and make it feel like there was somebody out there, I would do better.
It's like that's something for sure, but still, it's still not quite the same. Because I do think about that with music too. It's like, and I learned this. I mean, probably after a few years of playing in live bands, but like, we would practice in the garage for hours and hours and nail these songs every time. But then you get on stage and then it's like a different beast. And then stuff starts going wrong. And then you mess stuff up and you feel like shit. And you're like, why am I not? Why can we do this so perfectly here but not here? It's because you haven't practiced it over here yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you've only done it by yourself where it's like there's no distractions and nothing. And then that's all it is for comedy. It's like you kind of have to, because there is going to be so much pressure and so much people watching you. You might make eye contact with somebody and you're like, oh shit, they're here, you know. It just throws you way off.
Do you have that feel like what I've noticed is if I go to a new place, like I went and did Dallas Comedy Club for the first time, and I don't usually get nervous just because I feel like I get up a lot, so it's like, I'm not gonna be nervous. But then it's like, oh, it's a new place, and so there's a little bit of like, oh, I haven't done this here before, and then you kind of almost have to feel it out a little bit. Have you ran into that? Is that a normal thing? Or
I think that's right. Yeah,
I'm normal.
I mean, I would say that you should still be getting nervous.
Yeah,
all the time. Yeah, a little bit at least. There's some sort of
I'm good.
Well, I think if you're not nervous, you don't care enough. But
or there's nothing left to learn or something. You know,
I get excited.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like, I don't think you ever get away from like a little nervous. But
right.
I don't really have it as much as I used to.
Sure.
Comparatively. Do you get nervous still a little bit sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah, especially like, you know, if you're doing a new thing or whatever. Like, yeah, there's always,
I got nervous in Nick Thune, for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, 300, the full house.
Sure.
That was the first time I heard different laughs, like laugh pockets.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, oh, there's somebody, somebody gave some crackers.
Right. Oh, that table doesn't like me. Like,
Well, I had that moment too. I had a buddy I hadn't seen since I was like 18 or 19. And then I got up on stage, hey guys, what's going on? I was like, He's like, oh shit.
You didn't know he was there.
But yeah, it shook me a little bit, and I had to like kind of.
Was that at the club?
Yeah, that was that Nick Thune set. I had like 4 people that knew me that ended up on the front row.
That's crazy.
This is the worst.
Yeah, you don't want if you can help it, you don't want anyone you know with an eyesight.
Yeah. I don't know why though. It never bothered me until just because it was so surprising.
Yeah,
right up front.
You just unexpected. Like I said, it's just one of those things. But I think that the only way to handle that well is to have it happen to you and do it all multiple times, and then it's like becomes less jarring, and you can still keep yourself together. So,
well, at Cork, I would just call them out. I'd be like, who fucking decided to show up? But at Bricktown, they have a rule. I don't know how hard they hold to it, which it seems like they may be holding their rules a little bit better now. But it's don't crowd work. And that's like one of my favorite things to do. Is
like, you shouldn't as a host because it's it's not your show and you don't want to
start shit. Well, I can understand that, but like, but if it's my show at like Cork.
That's like the whole thing.
But that's mostly my
sometimes that's kind of what you need to do. I feel like because I've seen a lot more shows at Put a Cork in It than I have at any club or anything. So, but it's like at Put a Cork in It, it's like you almost have to. I feel like that's why it works as well as it does, is because Nick will like if the room is weird or they're not like into it, it's like he'll get them into it. It's like you'll point stuff out and like call people out and then kind of almost force them to pay attention or force them to be more comfortable with the show or whatever.
I like the thing is like this is happening.
Yeah. It's like you can't just not you can't be somewhere else. It's like you're here. You're gonna be with us. So
well, sometimes I feel like do I even need y'all? Like, I would probably just do this by myself. Like, I don't know.
But no, it's definitely not as fun, I'm sure.
Which just says a lot about. Anyways, we can get into that later. There's, no, so like I said, how are your bits? Like, what's your writing process like? Like, back then, having less to deal with, or less spot mics, and versus now. I see I feel like you're always on a mic now. You're always hustling.
I mean, I try. I don't even know what my writing process used to be like. I feel like it's gone through a few different incarnations, and I don't even.
It's just probably evolved slowly.
Yeah, and I
don't even recognize how it actually was. Yeah.
Right. I know for a while I would go up specifically with no material, which isn't really a smart thing to do at this point. But so you would just, I mean, essentially what you do at like Comedy on the Spot or whatever. I was just doing that in the middle of a regular open mic.
Yeah.
And it, so.
To see what, I mean, because, but I do think there is something to that pressure. It's like, you got to come up with something. It's like, what's going to come out of your mouth? Hopefully sometimes that's the best time you might come up with something really good. So.
And I used to do a lot more crowd work than I do now. I think I mean, one of my favorite comics, and maybe the comic that got me to start doing comedy, is Jimmy Pardo, and he's a crowd work comic, but in the good way, not like the Matt Rife or weird TikTok clip way. And I feel like now, because of social media and stuff, crowd work has kind of been ruined. So I kind of hate it now. So I've really shied away. I've shied away from doing it.
You want to rebel against what's popular,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
It does have a little tinge of hack to it now.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Before it was just like, hey, where are you from? That was a joke in the 80s. Was like, this guy's asked me where I'm from. Now it's like almost a given. Like, it's like, hey, it's a part of that magic act.
And really good crowd work actually isn't off the top of their head. It's just a magic trick where it seems that way.
Yeah, it's like they have a joke, but it's actually it's like they're just looking for a setup,
right?
To
Exactly.
Into an actual bit. Yeah.
So do you feel like? So you're saying it's already pre-prepared? That's not. That don't count. If you got something.
No, I mean not necessarily. I think it's still because it's still not. You're never when you're doing that. It's never 100% planned out or whatever.
Yeah, but like
just the bulk
too,
of it.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Pardo had that. Like you showed me that album that he did, which was all wasn't it just like one crazy night where he was just like, all right, I guess I'm not doing my act.
Yeah.
And it feels like quality crowd work is more insightful. Like you're really just gauging the person, and like if you can get them to give you something, and then you play off of that, almost like draw that person out of the character. Then you can do it to somebody else, and now those characters can intermingle.
Yeah,
and you can play with that with the crowd. I feel like that's a little bit more sophisticated of crowd work. But again, it's more like what do you see? Like, are you seeing mostly these like clips capturing weird moment? I mean, it's like being from the old school of comedy. I just being from the visually outside, like it is kind of looked down upon as far as like this is just candy.
Yeah,
this isn't quality. So do you feel like how's your crowd work changed from then to now? Then
I try not to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, you trying to do it?
Yeah. I mean, not as like a hard and fast rule, but like I definitly am a lot more written now than I have ever been.
Stick to what you want to do. I will ask this, like, as far as similarly along those lines, but it's like, what is it like these days whenever you get up on stage, and do you have like a set list of jokes, or do you like have maybe something to start with and you kind of choose things depending on the crowd and the audience and kind of change it up? Like,
I mean, it depends. I definitely have, a set list for the most part.
Like keep it fluid.
Yeah, and it depends on like what new stuff I have at that time. But I don't tend to change it. I sort of have started I have my act that I do for quote unquote real shows or whatever, like, like Bricktown or whatever.
Maybe you have certain sets for different environments, maybe, or different types of shows.
Well, almost I'm saying that I think I used to, and now it's the opposite, where I'm just like, no, I'm just going to make this work wherever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to do it, but I've sort of just leaned into that and been like, well, this is the joke I'm going to do. And if it doesn't work at this dive bar, that's fine. I'm not going to change what I'm doing because I'm at a dive bar versus a comedy club or whatever. Yeah. But I don't know.
I mean, ideally, I feel like if it is a good joke, hopefully it works everywhere.
Sure. That's the idea, at least, the goal. But,
Well, if they're listening. Like,
it
feels like, all right, I'm not going to say that was bad. They weren't listening.
That's definitely a part of it too. I mean, I've just noticed from watching so much comedy, it's like the delivery is all. I mean, you have to have good delivery, just to deliver it well, but then make sure everyone understands what you're saying and they get the joke. And then it's like if it's a good joke and then you deliver it well, then they should laugh.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes that could happen, especially at like you said, a bar show. half the room is not paying attention to the stage at all.
Which you tried some new stuff out at Bamboo this past time.
Oh yeah,
and that shit hit. I thought
it did. Yeah, and I feel
fun.
like sometimes when you're doing like a new joke for the first time, like just somehow you give it an extra oomph.
Yeah.
And then when you do it the second time, it doesn't have that anymore. You're like, oh crap! Now I gotta. Okay, this isn't as good as I thought it was after the first time.
But something happens when it's born. It's
right.
In the moment. Yeah, you're right. And then everything, because how much of it. Like you've had those moments, and then you go, "I'm going to do exactly that," and it doesn't work. Yeah, because it wasn't situational. You brought that up, you know. No, I do have a question. Is like as far as your voice, you know, what do you think your voice is? What do you think how do you make your voice? You know, you ever get that? You ever listen to that?
Sure. Yeah. I don't. It's hard for me to really say because I don't. A part of me almost thinks that that's bullshit.
Yeah. No, I got you.
And maybe that's just my excuse for having done it so long and maybe not found mine. Maybe that's my like, nah, that's fucking like, yeah. But I mean, obviously, I think it's kind of the same with everyone, really, that it's just an exaggerated version of yourself, or at least assuming you're not doing some sort of crazy character or something. But so that I don't know, and I try not to think about that sort of thing that much because I don't know. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, because I mean,
it's just like
could
you don't come off as like you do when you get up there. It's like this guy's rock and roll. This guy's got and then if you do say KATT 10,
right?
I'm like,
sure.
But what would your voice like? What things you like to talk about, or what?
I mean, there's definitely something to like. You should be trying to be a type of comedian that you yourself would want to watch.
Yeah.
So like I think if you're writing with that in mind, then you're just naturally going to be talking about things that you want to hear about. So like it just all builds on itself.
Yeah, I feel like it's something to do with like a confidence. It's almost like once you hit a certain point or a certain number of years practicing this, it's like you become so confident in what you're saying and in yourself that becomes like this. It can become a persona or something. Like it's just. I think it's a lot to do with the confidence, and it's like you stop pretending to be a comic, and you just are a comic. You know.
Well, I mean, I definitely see that at like certain open micers or whatever, and it's like, oh, you're just doing what you think stand up should be, as opposed to like what you truly are. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I mean, and sometimes that manifests in a persona or something, but I think a lot of people, I mean, once you do it long enough, you're going to become the comic that you are, you know. And it's like,
I don't know. Sometimes you watch people and you're like, I mean, it's different for different people.
Yeah.
Right? You see, I mean, obviously you've seen where I am and people grow and stuff. But like as far as, golden retriever energy, by far, right? That comes off pretty easy, and that's about who I am. Sure. So that's not too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's generally an asshole. Like that's just how it's just how it.
Positivity.
Sure.
That.
Yeah.
But no, I think that there is kind of an elevated sense of self, and like, I mean, that's how you are. I like to think how you are in conversation when you're shooting the shit with somebody. That's the person trying to be.
Yeah, just turned up a little bit.
Yeah, and I understand like not wanting to pin down, because also if you pin down a voice too earlier, I'm this person. Then now you're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it better to just grow and then
let it? You kind of let it happen instead of trying to force something.
Yeah.
And I mean, like with the radio stuff, like I fell into that because my act was all full of jokes about classic rock and stuff. Like it, that didn't come from working at radio. That was why I got the radio job. Yeah. So like,
Yeah. Speaking of the radio, do you ever like feel like it helps, like comedy helps radio or vice versa? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely, they feed off of each other certainly, but I'm not funny on the air generally. That's not,
what I was gonna ask too, is like, do you ever get to pull out any jokes or anything?
I mean, I can. Like, there's nothing, but it's not really, because I'm not the morning show guy where I'm talking for extended periods of time. Like, I talk for, 1 minute to 90 seconds at a time, and it's to read an ad. And that's really what the job is. It's to talk about Buffalo Wild Wings. And so like,
let's go.
Yeah. I mean, so I have little, snide things I'll say about songs or whatever, but in general, the job isn't really to be funny. It's, so it's kind of a different thing. And also just coming from stand up, then when I'm, in a little tiny room by myself, it's such a different vibe of, there's not an audience there. There is an audience, but you don't have any feedback from them. So you're not,
Are you by yourself? You're just kind of like,
yeah.
You're running there. And,
oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like a one-man operation?
Yeah. I mean, radio is a dying industry. They can't afford to have more than one person in the studio at a time. Like that's,
Yeah. I was just, for some reason, I assumed there'd be like more, somebody clicking stuff.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. There's just a board and 2 screens and
Oh, yeah, dude.
This episode of Rhythm Wit was brought to you by Campbell & Son Electric, Oklahoma City's trusted one-truck electrical contractor with over 20 years of experience in the field. Whether it's upgrading your home's electrical service, troubleshooting issues, or tackling small commercial projects, Campbell & Son Electric delivers top-notch work with care and attention you'd expect from a family business. Servicing areas like Del City, Edmond, Yukon, Mustang, and beyond, they're your go-to for reliable expert service. Need help with your next project? Visit CampbellandSonElectric.com today and get it done right the first time. Campbell & Son Electric, brightening Oklahoma, one wire at a time.
So another question I got for you. So having done comedy this long, what are some of the pitfalls that you would, hey?
Well, I mean, look at my bank account. Like that's
make sure you have
yeah. I mean, it's
a regular decent paying job.
Right. Yeah, and I having gotten into radio, it's just 2 swords of not making anything. Just
Right.
But communication is key.
It's
Well,
it's
I like that. You the interviews seem like you get to stretch your legs a little bit doing that.
Yeah.
And then being a journalist and ultimately, I feel like comedy is just like, hey, you're doing show and tell with your slice of life.
Sure.
It's kind of all of the things that made me. This is the filter. This is the world it looks like in my eyes. And I think you do a good job of like being that person in existence. I mean, you're the radio guy. You have this kind of like cool. You're a cool guy, man. You wear the jean jacket.
I wear the jean jacket.
You wear the jean jacket. You got 2.
I have 2.
You have 2. I heard about it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see. So pitfalls, advice anymore, or
I mean, I think actually, I would almost what we just said is almost now that I'm thinking about it is almost the wrong way of not treating it like a hobby.
Yeah,
because I think if you treat it like a hobby, you're never gonna, sometimes it's really hard to do, but if you have something to fall back on, then you probably will.
Like the idea is, I think, to have a good job that gives you a lot of free time to work on it. But it's like, that's such a hard thing to have. But
also at the same time, I always feel weird giving advice because, I've been doing it this long and I'm still at fucking JJ's.
Yeah.
So it's, it's like, who wants to, you shouldn't listen to me.
What's something that, what's something that you wish you had knew maybe, 15 years ago or something that you've learned since then that maybe you think would have helped if you learned it sooner or something like that?
I don't know. Start putting up TikTok clips as soon as TikTok becomes a thing.
TikTok first.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah. Well, no. I mean, come on. I get it.
Yeah.
Defining success monetarily obviously isn't the goal here.
Sure.
But what I would say is, you're doing a small tour with Todd Berry.
Sure.
You're about to go hit Hyenas. You're about to go to other places.
Yeah.
It's with Todd Berry, one of the best comedians ever, right?
It's, I do sometimes have to remind myself of like, okay, like, you have $12 in your checking account, but, I have done things that, 99% of people that ever try this never get to do. And so I do try to be mindful of that, but you guys have met me. I'm not the most positive person.
Yeah.
So it's, So it's,
But no, I hear what you're screaming. I think most people have $12 in the bank. I mean, I'll pull my phone again. I'll tell you this, and I say this. This is like a great example of how I see it, and I tell everybody this. But My dad went fishing all the time. He spent so much money on not catching fish. You know, he got $10,000 out of his 401k to buy a boat. You know what I'm saying? So he could go and be a bass master. You know, you sign up for that. There's a whole. It's just like us. It's saying, I'm gonna get 2 people. We're gonna try to catch a bunch of fish together. And he'd come home and he'd have a smile, but he wouldn't win.
Well, you know, whatever the corny like. It's called fishing, not catching.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's you know, doing stand up, not getting laughs.
Yeah, it's like, I'm doing the stand up.
Doing fishing, not, or what is it? What you say?
It's fishing, called fishing, not catching. And,
I get the same thing with STIs.
Yeah, sure.
It took me
well, no, for me that's catching, but
it's COVID. Yeah, tuberculosis is back. There's a it's super exciting about the Todberry thing and watching you pretty much do the Bricktown stuff too.
Yeah, it's all. It just kind of fell into place this month is kind of crazy, but yeah, and I mean working with Todd is always great. I've been lucky enough to go out with him a few times, and you know, mostly that gig is just someone that he is okay being in the car with to drive him, because that's the main thing. I'm not. He doesn't care about what I do on stage as much as you know as he has a ride from OKC to Tulsa to Springfield. Like it's, you know, that's what it is. But
can you stay awake?
Yeah.
Long drives?
I'm good at long drives. I'm good at exactly.
That's fun. Yeah.
Is that the one? Is that who we saw in Denver that one time?
No, that was I forget his name. He's real shy.
I was thinking.
Jamie,
Never mind.
no.
Never mind. I thought it was him, but
but you know, you're a national touring act. I mean, you've been doing this for this long. You've been through a bunch of the Looney Bins.
Sure.
You know, I will say, and you know, take this with what you want. It's like, dude, thanks for being an Oklahoma comedian. Hey, good rep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
let's go ahead and talk about another one of your accomplishments.
Okay.
Right. Othello's. You just won Othello's. To the festival.
Yeah. Yeah, which will be fun. Big Pine, so that's in a couple weeks, and
that's coming
up.
That's also coming up this month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm almost not dreading it. That sounds shitty, but I'm looking forward to it. But I have a show with Todd on the Thursday in Springfield. And then so after that show, I'll be driving back to Oklahoma City. So I'll get home at 2 or 3 or whatever to then catch the 7 a.m. flight to go to Arizona.
So that's the life, though. That's what you asked for.
Yeah, exactly. I can't, like, it's a very good problem to have, but it just in my mind, I'm like,
gonna suck.
I'm just praying that my hotel let me check in early when I get in Arizona.
How long is the flight? It can be like an hour.
It's not long and it's direct,
but still, you have to go to the airport. That's a whole.
Well, yeah.
At least 4 hours early.
Yeah,
and with the time change, I arrive in Arizona at like 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So like, I just hope the hotel let me check in early.
with the you know, TSA not being able maybe they'll give you a shirt. Maybe you can get a job that day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're not TSA agents now, right? They're ICE agents, so there's no qualifications needed. So I can, you know,
yeah. Funny.
Just
but no. Going out there doing that, let's see.
Well, going back to Othello's, I was at that show. I thought you did a great job, but what was it like, I guess? Or had you done that competition before ever?
Yeah, I'd done it a few times. I think I came in second like twice before.
Okay,
and then I hadn't done it in a long time. And then for whatever reason this year, I was just like, fuck it, I'll just compete, whatever. And, you know.
Because that's definitely is, I do think about that that competition. I like it because it is like, a lot. I mean, it's mostly newer comics, and you're definitely probably one of the ones that have been was a more seasoned veteran. So it's like it was cool to see, just kind of a mix of people. But
I mean, part of me thinks it's like, well, I better have won because if you add up the time that all the other finalists are, it's still only about you know.
No, but that was it was I love that competition though. I think it's just a cool thing, and that the prize is really cool too.
And Jen from Othello's always puts real effort into it, and like actually, you know, puts real money in things, and you know, and if anyone that's been to the Othello's open mic on Tuesday nights, she's not making a lot of money from comedy at Othello's, so like it's
she must be passionate about it because especially it being the longest mic in the city or metro. So it's awesome. But
did you guys do that back? Did you do the competition?
No, that only started when Jen took over because Jen hasn't owned Othello's the whole time. Like it was somebody else owned it initially, and then like I think those people like didn't pay their taxes or something, and then it was closed for a little while. And so like there was like 6 months where we did the Tuesday night mic at La Luna, which was a Mexican restaurant down the street in Campus Corner. Like it moved.
Yeah. So
and then
that's crazy.
Somebody new bought Othello, and then, you know, and I guess it was Jen, and then, you know, it burned down for a while. So like
it's been a history for sure. So yeah.
Well, what's some of the best advice you've gotten? Things that you
like
glad
other
somebody
people
told you,
maybe
or maybe you saw.
I mean, I kind of always feel like the only real good advice you should ever like take or give in comedy is always clear the mic stand.
Yeah.
That's if I, you know, it drives me insane. And if I see somebody that with an empty mic stand in front of them, I know, oh well, this person doesn't know what they're doing. Like it immediately shows that you're not good at this.
That's the thing.
What about rolling it too? The rolling the cord.
You know, that's fine.
Some people,
you know, exactly. You can you just be the Taking Back Sunday dude with it around his neck. But and then other than that, it's more just stick to your time. Like don't, you know, I can't stand when comics go, you know, at a mic or whatever. It's just it. And a lot of these things, like we were talking about with the Looney Bin, of them being so strict, a lot of this was like taught there because you had to. If you were going to go up there, you were, you know.
That's what I was just going to say was like, these days, there's not anyone that tells you those things. So it's like you be a new comic. It's like no one's ever told me to move the mic stand before. So it's like you just don't know.
Yeah,
Which
I wish.
Sucks, but it's like having a place like the Looney Bin would be helpful for that.
Yeah.
Well, come and tell you?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, Terry was, she was always there and giving feedback, and like it was a real, you know,
it's like a school.
Yeah, a little
much,
bit. And when I started, I remember I was terrified of her.
Yeah,
she was like an intimidating presence. And I think the first time I went to was like there weren't a lot of people because they used to do the open mic before their regular show on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So like the feature and the headliner were still, you know, like normal. They would just do truncated sets. And there weren't a lot of people on the books the first time that I came. And this was again after like 6 months of doing comedy because I had to wait to turn 21. And I think she was more or less yelling at all the open micers for not bringing any friends. Like there was, you know. So there's always that. And I do wish that like there was someone at Bricktown and stuff that was a little more hands-on, like at the open mic and on showcases and stuff. Because if I were just starting now and going to Bricktown, I would have no idea what the path is to like, oh, how do you know, I don't know how Bricktown like decides like, oh, this person has done good enough to start hosting the open mic or to close the open mic or to be put on one of the random Thursday, Sunday showcases. Like I don't have any idea what that process is.
Well, they do have the bringer shows that they do. That's like kind of, I think, I mean, just from what I imagine, it's like they do those to see who can bring a crowd, and then it's like because they do. I mean, they picked him to start hosting from that bringer show. So it's
that's
like,
true. Yeah, but
so it's like there's a little bit of a process at least, but still, it's kind of
funny is king, I would think.
Yeah,
I would hope.
Well, I would, you know, and I don't know how they know who's funny.
Yeah,
because I
trickle down.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I know they, you know, take notes and stuff.
Well,
how
did you
people
get
do.
kind of grandfathered in because you were so well known?
Yeah, I'd already been doing it long enough that I, you know, I was booked to host, I think, a weekend at Bricktown before the club opened.
Oh, nice.
So they, you know, like their owners came down early, you know, months before as they were building the club and came out to some mics and got the lay of the land of,
you know, really checked it out.
Yeah,
that's what I noticed about them is that they came to the Bringer show. The Bringer show
the owners.
There was a previous show I think they kind of just threw together so they could see some more people.
Yeah,
and they were very kind and you know, accepting and warm. And they did have expectations though. They wanted clean.
Sure.
I remember hearing that, and I was like, I can do that. But no, it was interesting. You know, I'm an owner of a company.
Yeah.
And I know how frustrating employees can be. That's why I don't have any, except for Liz.
Yeah.
And so I know. I mean, think about it. If somebody comes in here and says, "I want to tell my dick jokes,"
Yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, you gotta do them good. Oh, I don't know how to do that. You know. And it's like, all right, man. Well, we're trying to sell. Yeah, we're trying to make money. You know? I mean, I'm sure there's some love for comedy in it, but I mean, there's something about keeping the lights on.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's at the end of the day, stand-up comedy it exists to sell drinks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Larry and Terry, did they kind of instill that as well?
Yeah, I mean, Looney Bin Mike, you had to be squeaky clean, or not squeaky, but it was always clean, the mic. And part of that was because they did the regular show after. So, like, if the headliner that night is clean, you can't have a bunch of open micers just being filthy before them. Like that, you know. I mean, the headliner should always be the dirtiest comic on a show. And so if that headliner is clean, then fucking no one can be, you know.
This is the same thing with, like, a hosting. If you're hosting at any show, and it's like you have to kind of limit your own, if it's like whatever your normal set is, tone it down at least a little bit.
Or, like, you know, going out with Todd Barry, he does a lot of crowd work. You know, he has a whole special. It's a crowd work special, which means I have to do zero. Like, there's, and that's, you know.
Is that club crowd work special when he went to the different clubs?
He was like on tour and he had, for the special, he had people like have a microphone and stuff so that, you know.
Shout out Todd Barry, guys.
Yeah, and then, you know, that was in 2015 or whatever. And then a few years ago, Matt Rife came out with the first crowd work special. It's like, fuck off.
Well, you could just name stuff. You know, I'm the first electrical company.
Sure, yeah.
The first Campbell. There's a Campbell out there.
Campbell. They make soup, I think.
There's a Campbell Electric. Campbell and Son Electric, and their stuff will be. I'm watching you.
I remember sending you. There was like a Campbell and Son like yard.
It's different. They can do that because it's not the same trade.
Different trade. Yeah.
I learned that one too. I saw them a while back.
You tried to sue them already.
Just make sure you get the social media handles.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, I got them. I got them every direction. And the website.
So let's get back to we'll talk about the headlining show a little bit more. April 19th at Bricktown Comedy Club. Everybody get tickets at Bricktown.
Bricktown.comedy.com.
Bricktown.comedy.com. And can you run through the lineup one more time?
Yeah. It'll be Spencer hosting. Spencer Hicks, and then Lizzie Evans doing a guest set, and Bradchad middling, and then me doing like an hour.
Yes, dude. I love that you brought back the Spencer Hicks, Bradchad.
You know, when they booked me, they were like, "Do you want us to book a host or feature, or do you want to just pick people?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll pick people. I don't, awesome. You know, I don't want to fucking get stuck with." You know, whoever, whatever, insert your least favorite Oklahoma City comic that gets booked.
Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah.
So you're doing an hour. When was the last time you did that long?
It's been a while, but not. I mean, I probably do an hour a few times a year.
Okay.
It depends. Usually, I wind up having to do hours in not the best situations because a lot of times it's like a corporate gig or a private gig or something that is when you wind up doing more of that time.
But that's
not the most recent time, but one of the times I had to do an hour was a year or two ago. It was a corporate gig in Texas that I was supposed to do like half an hour, and then another comic was doing a half an hour for an hour long show. And then as I'm driving down there, the booker calls me and is like, "Hey, the other comic bowed out. Can you just do an hour?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. It's fine. I can handle it." And then I get there and I realize that the corporate gig is for the annual like convention of Texas psychoanalysts. Like they're all therapists. So it was an hour of me being like psychoanalyzed. they're all like,
that's hilarious.
This kid's fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I wasn't paying them, so I didn't get to hear what their feedback was. It was just I just felt like you know.
It's like when an IT guy makes your website. He's like, "Listen, I've made it for you. This is what it looks like. I can do more if you want me. I have it over here." You know, You got a copay?
That's
awesome.
How are you prep? I mean, what's your prep look like?
I mean, I haven't really started yet. I mean, I have so many shows leading up to it that I'm just going to, I'll do 20 minutes before Todd Barry, 6 times in the week and a half before. So I'll probably just try to do a few different 20-minute sets and that I can just stick together. But also, I sort of have the act, and it's just a matter of, the beginning, the middle, and the end is kind of the same, whether I'm doing 20 minutes or an hour. It's just adding all the other random stuff that I don't always do in it to fill it out.
Trying to find, you got to find those best pieces to kind of put in there.
The anchors are in the set no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you prep for the big pine the same way too? I mean, is that 10 minutes?
I don't even know how much time I'm doing on those. I mean, I'm assuming those are all shorter sets because it's like showcase shows.
You
so
got like 2 shows there.
Yeah, I do it too. And I could only do half the festival 2 of the days because it's like a 4-day thing. So
prep. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, no. So I mean, I won't prep for that at all. But also, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. So
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, if you don't know it now, you're not going to know it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the shows I'm on. I don't know how much time. I'm sure
Right.
because there's like 10 comics on each show. I'm sure I'm doing 10 minutes or whatever. So
Most likely.
That makes sense.
10 to 15 max.
It's your first festival?
no,
Okay.
I've done quite a
You
few.
usually try to do some every year, or one or two?
So I don't do a ton because as a general like loose rule is I don't submit to comedy festivals that charge money because I sort of feel like when a comedy festival is charging struggling artists for preying on their hopes and dreams, it's a little bit of a scumbag move, but and that's not across the board the way it is. Like I understand sometimes it's like you put that payment up to as a wall so that you don't get a million submissions or whatever.
It's like kind of only the people that are really dedicated or really wanting to be there are gonna submit.
But then a lot of times you see it and it's like $50 to submit and it's like fuck off.
Yeah,
like
it's like it should be like maybe $20 max. Yeah,
when you're getting your budget from the festival exists because of the budget from submissions. It's fuck off.
Cool.
But
yeah, for sure.
Is that not normal? For the submissions to cover the costs of like maybe watching the videos and doing some of the.
I mean, if it is, it means it's not a very good festival because, you should be able to sell tickets and have sponsors and if you're relying on the comics that are submitting to fund your festival, then that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
So what kind of festivals? I guess can you shout out like any ones that don't do that you like to try to?
Yeah, I mean, there's Moontower is probably the best festival that I've done, but it's and it was Austin. It's in Austin, so when I was Austin based, it was a lot easier. Like I probably couldn't get on it now,
right? Be hard, but still, like for me, because that's a lot of comics that I think that's one of the best things you can do is go to festivals and get out and meet other comics and get into different markets if you can. So
I mean that's kind of the main thing. Festivals are more of a hang than anything else. I think
networking.
Blue Whale.
Yeah,
I was on the board of Blue Whale for like 2 of the years, and then I did submit for that this year. I don't every year, but because again they do charge and 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 that one they're run by the Kaiser Foundation, so they literally have a billionaire backing them. They shouldn't need the $30 from comedians, but whatever.
But it's also a gate. So you're not just like
but because that one's just right up in Tulsa and stuff, I'll do that one. But
Altercation Fest, I feel like that would be one that you do have to pay. That one,
and I know JT that the dude that runs that dude slept on my couch, so like it's. You still do, and that is not to fully shit on JT, but I think that is a festival where the comic submissions do cover quite a bit of the cost for that festival. But I don't know.
This is my thoughts on this. Like I paid way more money for way less, dude.
Sure,
and so it's like I'm gonna throw $20 down to.
Yeah, like I said, if it's if it was like 20, 25, I feel like that could be whatever. Yeah, there's definitely a limit there.
I'm trying to get gas.
Right. Because then, festivals don't pay generally when you're there. If they do, it's like spot pay where you're making $25 or something. Yeah. Like, so you're also like, okay, is it really worth it for me to travel halfway across the country? And, what am I really getting out of this beyond just, I'm going to meet 20 comics from different parts of the country? Like, that could be beneficial, but it also is just like, that's a big investment for just that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like your own. I think the only thing you really, not knocking Blue Whale or any other places, just seems like you get a ticket to the show. And then you get to, I'm going to go on vacation.
At this place. That's what I was saying. You also have to take time off work. You have to travel there. It's like, it's more expensive than just.
And then they're making profit off of your act. So there is, I guess what you're saying, for sure.
Good point, for sure.
19th. Yeah. April 19th at Bricktown Comedy Club. Yeah. He's headlining. Guys, Cameron Buchholtz, he's going to do it. He's going to make you laugh for at least an hour. Dude, solid lineup. Good story. That's what I like. I like a good lineup with like a good story.
Yeah, it's like your buddies, like I said, these comics have been, and you don't get to see them perform. I mean, obviously Bradchad's coming back, but Spencer's, it's a good opportunity to see Spencer Hicks. Is very funny. And we definitely, I feel like we've talked about it before. I feel like you need to get him on Cork. Spencer.
Oh yeah, eventually. Yeah.
When he has time.
We're booking up We'll get you, Spence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you as soon as you.
I mean, we haven't mentioned that he was supposed to be here.
Yeah, he was supposed to be this water.
And he something came up at work and he can't. So, maybe when maybe hold it against him that you don't want to book him because he might not show up. He flakes and shit. So, it's not the best precedent. But
sure? Cameron said,
yeah.
But hopefully it makes it to your show. No, man.
He's just the host. I can get another host on it. That's fine.
This is 2:00.
He's expendable.
All right, guys. First off, this is working hours. All right, so I don't want to give him that much.
Yeah.
It's like he's working. He's got a job, family. So here's the thing. I didn't want to bring this up unless he was here. We'll do it. There's I worked at his house.
Oh yeah, did you do some?
He knew who I was. I knew who he was.
Sure.
And he was. It's weird climbing through a man's attic.
Yeah.
And then you come out and you're like, I saw you. You made me laugh.
I saw you open for Chappelle.
He was pretty sick. Cool guy. But no, it was good. That was back when he was running for mayor. Remember?
It wasn't mayor. It was like some sort of county assessor or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, he lost.
Yeah, but I remember he was working on it.
Yeah. Well, his wife is a state senator.
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Carrie Hicks is. Yeah, she's a state senator. And before that, Spencer he still actually works for Brad Henry. But when Brad Henry was governor, he worked for Brad Henry. So
really? So he's been in it for a while. Very politically driven.
Yeah.
You can tell in his comedy.
Yeah, sure.
No, I was, whenever we were watching 89th Street, back when it was the conservatory.
Yeah.
Walking in that place where it is, how it is now.
Right. They moved the stage and
Yeah. Well, look what you can do with a little bit of money. But I remember, dude, and then coming back, it was like, for me, it was like, oh.
Yeah, because that's been. Was that the first time you'd been there since like 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah. Since you've been able to poop in the bathroom.
Yeah, right. That's something I always remember.
You might just have to do it with a friend.
Well, yeah.
But no, man, we're excited. Thanks for coming and talking.
Yeah, man.
With us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Letting us help you promote your thing. I hope you sell the motherfucker out.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sell it out, but I know how many tickets I've sold, so I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
so, or at least as of
They give you a breath, let you know.
No, I asked once, so I'm not gonna
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. Yeah, well, like I said, it helps us see a path. And,
that's like I said. I think it's great. Hopefully, it does do well because, like you were saying earlier, it could help everyone do more local shows there.
Hopefully,
we definitely want to see. So,
well, how can people find you?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's my last name is impossible, so it's not good at any of that. But it's C Buchholtz on most of the social media. Cameron Buchholtz. If you anything on the KATT, KATT, it's because my last name is so weird. Even if you misspell it, I probably still show up. Right. So and
he has an album if you want to kind of check out his other stuff before. It looks very cool, very Van Halen.
Yeah. Which that album, it's crazy. It's like 7 years old at this point, which is nuts. I should have hopefully arriving in the next week or so. I did do another pressing of that on cassette, so I'd have something to sell this next month. Because I did it when it came out. I sold cassettes and
Take it to guest room.
I think they take like half of the product. I don't need to do that, and also it's more of a thing to like as a souvenir. People don't really listen to it.
Right. That's the thing.
I put it out in a format that no one can hear. So that's
how much you selling it for?
I either do $10 or sometimes I do pay what you want. Because no one's gonna give me less than $5, and and sometimes they'll give you $20 if you say pay what you want. So
that's the game.
Good point.
No, I remember listening to old what is it? White Stripes and Weezer on cassette. Back whenever you go to FYE. I don't know if you remember.
Sure, 4-year entertainment.
Yeah,
I think there's still one on the South Side.
There is.
It's just mostly Funko Pops now. I think, but
sure.
Anyways, FYE over there off of Western and I-240. Give it up, Cameron Buchholtz. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming out. This has been really fun.
Subscribe, like, follow all 33 of you. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. All right. Peace.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.